Hey Magic fans, I'm Paul of the Let's Talk Magic podcast, and this is your Slice of Bacon game preview. Today is the second night of a back-to-back for the Orlando Magic as we face the Philadelphia 76ers back in Orlando. A tough matchup between the third and fourth placed seeding teams in the Eastern Conference. This is regular season game number 30 for both teams. Venue, we are back in the Care Centre. Still trying to get used to saying that. UK tip time is midnight. For our friends in Orlando, that is a 7 p.m. tip. To watch here in the UK, as we always tell you, you are going to need an active NBA League Pass subscription, unfortunately. I'm going to talk about the Magic. Since we last did a game preview, and I do apologise that Christmas celebrations and preparations got in the way of doing the last two games. Our record is now 18 and 11. We've won two games consecutively, and we are at 4 and 6 over the last 10 games played. The home record is 11 and 3. Technically, it's 11 and 2 if you discount the home court loss in Mexico City against the Atlanta Hawks that we had. We stand, as we say, fourth in the East, and we are scoring 113.6 points per game, conceding 110.7. Defensively, we are ranking third in the NBA, and offensively, we are 19th. It's been a bit of an increase. We're starting to move up, seeing better offensive figures. On back-to-back, the Magic are faring a shade better than last season. It's not perfect yet by any stretch of the imagination. This season, on the first night, we are 3 and 3 so far, and on the second night, we are 2 and 3. So let's hope we get this back to 3 and 3. Be nice. Last season, it was 6 and 7 on the first night, so very similar record so far. But on the second night of the back-to-back last season, we were at 1 and 12. So it does show that this team are starting to figure out how to win some of these more difficult games. Scoring, being led by Paolo Banchero at 21.7 points per game. Franz is following up very closely with 20.5 points per game. Third on the team, leading the bench, is Cole Anthony. Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner and Markelle Fultz also are averaging all over 11.4 points per game. It'd be nice to see Markelle finally come back and start improving on that figure again, hopefully. Now, last time out, since our previous preview, the Magic have played two games. Going to have a quick talk about both of those. So the Indiana Pacers took a 117-110 victory to halt a 4-game losing skid at that point. That was on the 23rd of December. In this win, the Magic found a way to play their style of basketball against a superb attacking Pacers team. Orlando scored in the paint. They protected it effectively on defence. The Magic defence was physical. They took advantage of their size, and it saw hustle plays really, really disrupting the Pacers' offensive flow. Unlike the previous meeting this season, where the Magic had a 40-point lead, this game was a far more competitive issue. And it wasn't until midway through the final quarter that we actually saw Orlando create a cushion for victory on the back of a strong run at that point in the game. Paolo Banchero, he finished with 34 points and Franz knocked in 24. Gary Harris again troubled his hometown team, finishing with 15, and Cole Anthony had 12 points from the bench. Caleb Houston, he may have only had 6 points, but he was very effective in his time on the court and actually finished with the team's best plus-minus rating. Starting unit in that game was Anthony Black, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr. From the bench came Cole Anthony, Mo Wagner, Goga Bitadze, Jonathan Isaac and Caleb Houston. Then last night on the 26th we played in Washington, taking on the Washington Wizards, and for a third time this season the Magic took a win. 127-119, probably closer than it needed to be in all honesty as a result of one or two sloppy plays. Saw the Magic turn over the ball quite a bit, but then again so did Washington. The Magic again created a cushion for victory in that second half with a late third quarter, early fourth quarter run of scoring 15-5 that really it took the game open. And even though, let's be honest, Washington came back, the Magic were able to take a victory. Rookie Anthony Black, what a game. He was a demon on defence, but he had a career high 23 points with some really good rhythm that he found early in his shooting on the game. Superb to see. For the 10th game this season, Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero each scored 20 points plus. Franz, he led the team with 28 points, 8 rebounds and 9 assists. Great figures. Really good to see him pulling it back to where he was, and we actually saw him make 1 or 2 3-pointers, and you could see the relief on his face as they sank. Paolo Banchero, 24 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists. As a team, the offensive focus was on ball movement, and the teamwork that we saw was fantastic. It resulted in 30 assists for the Magic. Goga Bitadze, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs and Moritz Wagner rounded out the double-digit scoring for Orlando. Starting unit in this one was Anthony Black, a returning Jalen Suggs after minor injury, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr. Good to see Wendell actually probably having a bigger influence on this game as he starts to get minutes under him. You've got to be fair, he missed 20 games, you've got to think that this guy is coming back. It's almost like the start of the season for him. He's getting his rhythm, he's getting his timing, he's getting his fitness back. From the bench, Cole Anthony, Moritz Wagner, Goga Bitadze, Gary Harris and Caleb Houston. So for tonight, Gary Harris, Jonathan Isaac and Joe Ingles are all listed as questionable. Markelle Fultz is absent again. That's now 21 games consecutively that he's missed, and he's only featured in 1 of the past 25 through this left knee injury that he has. Jet Howard again is unavailable, being on a G League assignment. Trevelyan Queen, Kevon Harris, both listed as not going to be playing, and Admiral Schofield is fit, but he hasn't suited up recently for the team, though he is available if needed. As to this starting unit, don't expect any changes tonight. They, even though it's a back-to-back, they will play what we have seen as of late. If it's not broke, don't fix it. 76ers, season so far 20-9. They lost their last game, but they have won 8 of the last 10 played, standing third in the East, scoring a massive 122 points per game, which is 4th in the league, and conceding 111.2, which is only 6th. Very, very close in conceding figures to the Magic. Offensive rating of 2nd and defensively 5th. This is a team that are strong on both ends of the floor. In his first season as head coach, Nick Nurse has this team first in free throw attempts and with a focus on attacking the 2-pointer. They match up really, really closely in what Orlando do well on offense. Second chance points, scoring from turnovers and points in the paint. However, the thing that they do also have is that they rate highly in fast break points, leading the league in steals. On the defensive end, they do limit second chance opportunities and are 7th in blocks per game. Whilst the Sixers do have a great record so far this season, they have genuinely struggled against teams that have a record of 500 or plus. So it's going to be interesting to see. On the road, they are 8-5 this season. But a massive part of what the Sixers do is based around the play of Joel Embiid. More on that to come. On Christmas Day, which was their last game, they were without Joel Embiid. And they fell in Miami, a road loss of 113-119. Former Orlando Magic player Tobias Harris, He led the team in all three major categories of statistics for the game. 27 points, 6 assists and 7 rebounds. Kelly Oubre Jr., he followed up very closely with 25 points, 7 rebounds and 3 assists. Another ex-Magic player, Mo Bamba, he came from the bench and had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists and 2 steals. That led their bench contribution. That starting five was Tyrese Maxey, DeAndre Melton, Kelly Oubre Jr., Tobias Harris and Paul Reed. Mo Bamba, Patrick Beverley, Marcus Morris, Daniel House Jr., KJ Martin and JD Springer came from the bench. Both Robert Covington and Furkan Korkmaz were listed as available but did not play. So as we say, the big news is that Joel Embiid is out again for tonight. He is also joined on the absent list by veteran Nicholas Batum. All three of their G League players are unavailable, so kind of expect that same starting five as we saw on Christmas Day. Head to head, 129 regular season games played between the two, and the score stands at 80-49 for the Magic. We actually lead this one. Last season the Sixers won the series 1-3, Orlando winning in Philadelphia on January the 30th. So recent history is not with us though, unfortunately. The Sixers have won 11 of the last 12 contests played, taking the past 3 series, and we last won on home court in December 2019. That was also the last time that the Magic took a series, the 2019-20 season, 2-1, and that included a victory in the NBA bubble when the season resumed. So final thoughts on this one. This is the first meeting of the season between the two teams. For Orlando, yes, it's the second night of a back-to-back, having been on the road and having to travel back home. The 76ers arrived in Orlando after the Miami game, so they rested up. It's far from ideal, but we are taking on one of the NBA's most fancied teams at home, and the Magic are playing well at home. In the absence of Embiid, the Sixers still have a whole lot of firepower. Tyrese Maxey is currently top 20 in the league in points per game at 25.9, assists 6.7 per game. He, along with Tobias Harris and Kelly Oubre Jr., will share that extra offensive workload. Once again, we will need to have our defence playing at its best to pull out a win against the Sixers and move to within 1 game of them for the 3rd seed position. Excellent start to the season still. We've got to be pleased at this as Magic fans. So hopefully you've enjoyed this preview. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really do appreciate your support. Hope you've had an amazing Christmas. Hope Santa brought you some excellent Magic swag. New Penny Hardaway bobblehead at the side of me. And let's get that win. Let's go Magic.